And whenever he preached the gospel and explained to us what we needed to be and what we needed to do, God knew all the time what he was doing. He still does today.
Amen.
A lot of people have decided, I think, that God was just joking about some things. God was not just joking about things. God was telling us what we need to be. He wants us to have good things. He wants us to have joy. He wants us to have peace. He wants us to have love. Listen, if you truly have love in your heart, the love of God, you'll have joy and peace.
Amen.
That's a part of it.
That's right. God's love.
All of this comes through the promise of God. Comes through what God has promised me and you. Don't take it lightly. Don't be feeling like some whipped pup part of the time. We need to be courageous. We need to be strong. We need to step out on faith. We need to tell people about God's love. We need to tell people about the love of Jesus, what he has done for us, what's been accomplished for us, and where it started at. Be able to tell men why it is, for the joy that we have. I enjoy my salvation. I don't know about you. I enjoy my salvation. I enjoy being born again. Oh, by the way, there's another side of this coin. The devil bothers me a whole lot. You know, I preach. And if you think the devil won't bother a preacher, try preaching once. Try preaching and see if he don't get on your back before you get home. He'll give you trouble before you can get outside. But listen, I know it. I've been around here a while. I've seen his ugly face several times, Chuck. I know him. I know how to say, get behind me, devil. I hate you. A lot of times I tell him about where he's going. I tell him where he's headed and where I'm going. He'll start to bother me and give me problems, and I'll tell him, listen, I know that you're going to the lake. You're going to the lake that burns with fire, and you'll be there in eternity. But I don't have to go the way it's been made that I don't have to go. I'm going to heaven. Get behind me, devil, because I'm not going the way you're going. I have to make them choices too. I have to make them. You do too. You do too. It's not just preachers. It's not just preachers. I know the devil bothers you too. He's after all of God's people. He wants to drag you down. He wants to discourage you. He don't want you to be a witness. He don't want you telling other people about Jesus. He don't want you telling other people about this wonderful plan that God has in place for me and you. He don't want you telling people that. So therefore, he'll do everything he can to hinder you from doing that. There's lots of demons. There's lots of forces of evil that give us problems. But the fact is, we are promised that we can be conquerors and more than conquerors through him that loved us. Talking of Jesus. Talking of Jesus. Talking of God. From the promise of Abraham, God had in mind good things for us. From Abraham, from all the way through, God had in mind. But listen, it went before that too. It was before that too. According to the Bible, Christ was slain from the foundation of the world. In other words, God knew about what was going to take place all the way through from there. From the foundation of the world, God knew every event that was going to take place. And he set in place a way to redeem me and you. Wow. To redeem us. To redeem us. We are redeemed from our sins. God's plan works. God's plan has always worked.
Amen.
There's been a lot of times that men, you find them in the Bible, you'll find men that tried to get things to work the way they wanted to and get away from God's plan. And it didn't work. Get them in trouble every time. Check it out. Check out the Bible. Every time that man decided he'd go his way, it didn't work. But whenever people complied with what God had told them, whenever they walked with God, whenever they do what God has told them, and that extends all the way from there to here and beyond. Whenever men will do what God has said do, God blesses them. God blesses people for doing his will. God blesses people for doing His work. God blesses people for believing His promises. So we need to step out on faith and claim the promises. Those promises have been made to us. Those promises that have been made to us as the redeemed. And they're all through the Bible. All you have to do is get into it, read and check, and find out that these promises are to me and you.
Amen.
What need do I have to be long-faced?
That's true.
Why should I be down in the mouth, as old saying is? I need to be up. I need to be cheerful. I need for people to see that I believe God. I need for people to see joy.
Amen.
People need to see joy in the day that we live. God is able to perform everything that He's promised.
Praise the Lord.
Let's trust Him. Let's put our hope in Him. Let's put our trust in Him. People trust in a lot of things anymore, don't they? Their wealth, money being one of them, most common for people to put their trust in. The love of money, according to the Bible, is the root of all evil.
Amen.
Money itself, if it wouldn't buy you all kinds of things and do all kinds of things for you, money itself as well have a sack full of shucks. But the fact is, people love pleasures more than they love God anymore. And money buys that for them. So they love their money because it'll do these things for them. We need to love God above everything else.
Amen.
We need to walk in His ways. We need to keep His commandments. That's what got these people where they got. That's what got Zechariah and Elizabeth God's attention. That's what brought Gabriel to speak to them, was they was walking in the ways of the Lord. They were keeping His commandments. And you'll find that to be true all through the Bible. I want to be one that God will call on when He wants to do something. And I want to tell you this. If you're one that God speaks to and says, I would like for you to do this, maybe it's as simple